Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. In the last video you saw, we got the front end off, the front clip, the hood off, out of the way by using the hoist. Just me and the hoist. That's what's up. All right, next we're gonna go ahead and get that motor yanked out. That way we have more access to the booster, the brake lines, and getting the cab mounts off. Cab mounts are right here in the front. I should probably go ahead and spray them with some liquid wrench. This thing has some surface rust on it. It definitely sat in a field or something for a while, but it hasn't fought me too bad. Been able to get most of the bolts out. Only had one clip break and had to just squeeze it with some pliers and work it out. So like we said, we'll go ahead and start getting this motor and transmission out of the way. Chipping away. The motor mounts are all completely unbolted from the frame. They're still bolted to the motor. The headers, I have the exhaust cut past the collector. So that way that piece of collector's there for whoever needs it. So next, we need to do the transmission mount, disconnect that, and then disconnect the drive shaft so we can get that out of my way. And then we can yank that motor out. Then we can start pulling the seats, the bench seat, and the carpet. That way we can access the back body mount bolt. Then we can start figuring out how I'm going to use that hoist to get that off of there. Fought me a little bit, but we got it. It's out. I'll be able to put this thing out of the way. And all we have left is to take apart the steering and the brake lines off the master. I need to find out if he's keeping it. If he's not keeping it, then I'll just take that off the firewall and drop it on down onto the chassis and let it get loaded up to the scrap yard. All right, that's gonna be it for tonight, but we'll keep on moving. Everything for the bench seat and the seat belts are unbolted. Seat belts went there. Then the bench seat bracket, more seat belts, another bench bracket, and underneath as well, there's 2 bolts on each side here, and then 2 bolts over there. So now I'll go ahead and wrestle that out of there. Then we can take off that trim piece on each side. And then we can roll that carpet up and get it out of there. I'm thinking about going ahead and cutting out the trans tunnel while it's bolted to the frame. I'm not sure, because it's gonna, otherwise the body's gonna be set up on those heavy duty jack stands. They're not really stands. Well, they are stands, but they're not the traditional jack stands. They're for holding up anything 1,200 pounds each one, and they're fully adjustable. I'm not sure. I got them just specifically for the cab, but now the front clip and everything's off. I'm not sure if I want to do it that way. I might be making some plates for the bottom to relieve the pressure, and I might use the hoist to lift the cab up enough to bring it back and then set it down on something so it's closer to the ground. Not 100% sure yet, but we'll get this thing out of here and keep moving forward. Get this chassis out of here. It's out. Didn't know someone put some sound deadening down, but we can work around that. I'll try with my heat gun first. I'll start to heat this piece up and we'll get it off the top of the trans tunnel. And then I might have to do a small drive shaft tunnel. Not 100% sure just yet. Somebody already, like I said, they put the sound deadening in, and they put a new dash pad in, digital Dakota cluster, and I can't tell if they just repainted this or it's just been that nice ever since. Steering column still looks good with an aftermarket steering wheel. So we won't pull, we'll pull only what's needed up on this and away so it doesn't melt from the when I weld in the new tunnel or raise it. And then we'll go ahead and put more back on it. So if you didn't know, you didn't know. You think they did it before. But unfortunately, the brand I have is a different brand than this. So you might be able to tell, but that's no biggie. If you haven't yet, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Turn on notifications if you haven't. That way you can follow along until we get as long as we're gonna on this. And then, like I said, we got some other things coming in, other projects to work on. So far, not bad. Used the heat gun to heat it up a little bit, make it easier to remove. Still tough, but I got that piece there, and then the tunnel, transmission tunnel or cover will be exposed, and then I'll remove some of this in the center, and then we can start getting it prepped to start cutting. cuts out, I can start to get some measurements and start figuring out where it's going to go. So before I do that, we'll move this out of the way. We'll get that frame up off the ground. It's on 2x4s now, but I'll get it up higher. And we'll go ahead and get the motor and transmission set in place, so I can start getting measurements and numbers to know where exactly to cut for that transmission. And then once we get that cut out, the motor and transmission will already be in that frame. So then we'll go ahead and take this cab off and test fit it once we cut it out. We won't be using, excuse me, the master or the brake setup. So we won't be using the vacuum booster, the master cylinder, and we won't be using any of this steering. It'll get deattached somehow up here. First it'll come off the rag, and then I'll figure out how to get this bracket, because we won't need all that with all of that newer stuff. Hey, if you haven't yet, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Turn on notifications for me. That way you get notified every time I put out an updated video of this or any other project that comes in here. Before I put the motor and transmission in, I need to modify this transmission mount. This transmission mount has a lot of extra room. Let's see if it'll zoom in. Not zoom in, but focus better. There we go. I'm gonna cut this all the way back and take a good inch and a half. You don't need that much extra on here. I'm only gonna let it be like right there. It'd be like a 1/4 inch. All the rest of that's gonna get cut off because, as you can see, it's too tall. If you lay it out, it will not lay out. It'll eat through those studs. So we'll trim that up, get the mount and everything else, the motor-wise, set in here, and we'll get the frame. I'll set it up on jack stands in the front. I have to disconnect that air line. Going to be in the way. I'm going to have to add and make a longer line for that so we can tee around the motor. That's where it's gonna sit. The bolts have a good 1/2 inch from touching the ground when laid out. I had to take the shocks out and raise everything up a little higher, as you saw. But it's in, and now I can start getting measurements on where I need to cut for that trans tunnel. I'll probably go off the body mount or the floor somehow. I'll get some measurements on the heights, find kind of center, and we'll see what we can do. Another step marked off that list. One step closer to getting this cab cut out, put on there, and then we'll have to start obviously modifying and cutting even more parts, but one piece at a time. Looked big outside of the frame and not put on the chassis or anything. Now that it's in, it looks tiny. Everything except for the body mount bolts is disconnected from the cab and the frame. The wiring's all disconnected and set up out of the way. Brake booster's off, master cylinder, we're not using it. I'm depending on what steering column the customer wants to go with. If they're gonna try to use this, I can cut this right here, and then we can use a universal fitting on it. River Union, I believe they're called. Everything's gutted and ready to go in here. And it's ready to go on here after we get the measurements and cut the trans tunnel out. So that'll be the next thing that we do before I take off the body mounts. I'll leave those secure so I can get in there, cut some stuff without accidentally knocking the body off. I'm sure it's not going to go nowhere, but it'll stay for now. So now, like I said, we can go ahead and get the measurements and get this trans tunnel cut out, because that transmission and drive shaft are going to be up a little high since this will be on the floor. All right, everyone, that's going to be it for this episode. If you want to watch and see me cut the trans tunnel out in that, and the next episode, we'll get the cab off and test fit it on that frame. Hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. All right, everybody. Thanks for watching.